A marathon weekend in Bloomsburg is coming to a close under the summer sun. As the happy faces leave the midway to meet up in the grandstands, the monster trucks come to the line one more time. You are looking at the pride of Arlen Springer out of Milton, Pennsylvania, as the chrome, the candy apple, the show and shine are all a part of this tradition-rich event here at the Bloomsburg Fairgrounds in Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania, as Steve Shannon Tire Company presents the 37th Annual Summer Four-Wheel Jamboree Nationals, and the biggest machines in motorsports are rolling into the competition area. The final monster truck event of the weekend, racing and freestyle, about to get underway, and we are going to open things up, as we have all weekend long, with our qualifying round highlights in this field of 7. And we're going to open with this story that's been ongoing. J.R. Seasock in playing hooky, finally getting some horsepower out of this engine, but the steering problems are still plaguing him. You can see he has rear steering only. The front steering, it's not completely gone, but it is slow to respond. They've been working on getting that fixed all weekend long and trying to get the corner put back together, as he had a damaged kingpin. Allison Turner kind enough to lend him kingpin bearings to get through the weekend, but he's not done yet. Take a look at our qualifying round here. Kurt Kramer out of Rantoul, Illinois. Ramunition starting things off in this 7-truck field. Again, if you have not watched our coverage so far this weekend, these trucks are running on about 5 different surfaces in one S-track, as they go from dirt to rock to clay to gravel to grass, pavement in there a little bit, and Kramer would open up the qualifying session with a 24.50 second elapsed time. Right behind him, though, the Night 2 race winner and 2-for-2 freestyle winner, Darren Basil out of Texas, driving Blockhead out of Indiana. Basil very smooth on his qualifying run, landed himself in the number 1 spot with a 21.63 second elapsed time to better the 24.5 of Ramunition. Now, one of the most powerful machines on the premises, with the 572 cubic inch Kevin Stauffer built Oldsmobile power plant in the back, the War Wizard. R.J. Turner out of Knoxville, Maryland. He's had a rough way to go this weekend with steering problems, and you can see this truck was crashed about 3 days before this event. They did not have time to get a front clip back on it, but he just roosted our corner cam. 23.37 seconds put him in second place for the moment, but right behind him, you talk about horsepower, the big Hemi-powered Raminator out of Champaign, Illinois, part of the Hall Brothers racing team, Mark Hall. And this beautiful black Ram machine, and they had their own set of problems getting into the action today, as they shelled a transmission last night. The whole crew getting in on replacing that transmission and then replumbing a few things on that truck, as they did have a few other problems. They had a steering issue as well that had to be rectified, but they are back in the action today. They were the Night 1 racing winner, Mark Hall, trying for another one here in Bloomsburg. Shooting for the 21.63. He wasn't able to get past it, but a good time would put him in second place at 22.10. for Mark Hall in the Raminator. Behind him, the gentleman out of Elkton, Virginia, Brandon Darrow in the Chevrolet Bad News Travels Fast. Very smooth contender out on the high side of the track on the finish line jump. Nets a 23.03 second elapsed time. Again, no one getting around Darren Basil in Blockhead. Our final qualifier, Jack Brown out of Lafayette, Indiana in Dirt Crew Dozer. Been trying to clean up that final turn all weekend long. A 22.19 would put him into third place, so Blockhead would end up number one. Here is a look at the bracket as we head toward round one of racing. Blockhead will get a bye run. Then it'll be Bad News Travels Fast against War Wizard, two machines out of the same region. Raminator will take on Playin' Hooky, Illinois versus Pennsylvania, and the Dirt Crew Dozer against Ramunition. So a great three pairings in our first round of competition, and this bye run, Darren Basil looking to be quick still in this first round bye. He normally doesn't take it easy. He likes to make every run count on this track as he can get as much experience as possible running this very difficult, varied surface track that they have to deal with here in Bloomsburg. Start for Basil. Now running the wide side on the way back. You can see our camera got turned there. And he will finish up a legal run. Basil still quick out of both lanes all weekend long, trying to get, as I said, as much experience on the different surfaces that this track has to offer. Now as we continue on with round one competition, Brandon Darrow out of Elkton, Virginia in Bad News Travels Fast. 2003 built Patrick chassis that debuted in 2004, still out here 21 years later, making the rounds up against another PEI machine that made its debut initially in 2007, that being the War Wizard. It's undergone major surgery a couple of times, and as you can see, had a little bit this weekend. That was mostly cosmetic. Got a makeshift roof back on it. Still sporting the Pro Mod body, but no doghouse this weekend. Very different setups. Turner with a big time problem as he showers the grass with that heavy limestone. He's way behind right now. No prayer of coming back. He's going to go ahead and finish the course. Wise decision just in case something happened in terms of a track infraction to Bad News Travels Fast. Well, no, the steering problems are persisting, so it looks like Turner is going to call it quits for the day as he can't get around that turn right there. The rear steering is not cooperating with him. Well, maybe he will go ahead and finish the track. Couple of penalties on the run and a very slow time, but he will go ahead and finish his run as he comes across the finish line and hits one of the freestyle obstacles right there and heads back to the pit area. Jack Brown now in the Dirt Crew Dozer. Second pairing of our first round of competition. Kurt Kramer in the Ramunition machine out of the state of Illinois. Big Hemi power plant and that Hall Brothers Racing chassis next to the Eddie Micah built Dirt Crew Dozer. Both of these guys capable of taking a race win. Brown has to be favored in this thing, though. He would love to pull out the victory here as He is aiming at his teammate, Darren Basil. Basil with one victory, the Hall brothers with one victory. DCT would love to say they claim victory over the Hall brothers this weekend, and Brown comes off the line with a tremendous charge. Trying to be clean in this final section. He tags one of the Ute tires, but it will not be a penalty. Racing for the finish line, very close at the end, but I do believe Brown will pull off the victory. And he will move on into the semi-final round of monster truck racing here in Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania, the Dirt Crew Dozer. I believe he should be matching up with the winner of our next matchup as Mark Hall comes to the line in the Raminator, qualified in the number 2 position behind Blockhead, just ahead of Jack Brown in the Dozer. There you see J.R. Seasock, a little bit more confidence as he rolls into stage on this day. He would like to say he beat Mark Hall in the Raminator. It's going to be a tall order, though. Things still not at 100% in the play in Hookie Chevrolet. He has been battling engine problems as they had to borrow a motor to get to this event. He blew one up about 4 days ago in the shop. Had to put a borrowed engine in this truck, made it to the fairgrounds Thursday night, finishing touches, trying to get him on this truck on Friday morning, and it just wasn't to work for him. You can see, though, he gets a good hole shot there, but it's just not got the horsepower. Mark Hall and the Raminator going to pick up a round 1 victory here, but you got to tip your hat to J.R. Seasock. Had a little more out of those front steering inputs. He's struggling, but not near as far behind as he was in previous rounds, so it will be Blockhead taking on Bad News Travels Fast in the semifinal round, and then the Raminator against the Dirt Crew Dozer when we come back to action here under the sun in Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania.
This presentation is brought to you by Monsters Monthly, your place for photos, videos, event info, and all the happenings in the monster truck industry. Visit monstersmonthly.com. And by Crush This. For a weekly look inside the wide world of monster trucks, check out Crush This, a Monster Truck podcast. Available on Facebook, Spotify, and YouTube.
The Monsters return to the Steve Shannon Tire 4-Wheel Jamboree July 11th through the 13th. Bloomsburg Fairgrounds, Predator, War Wizard, Hot Seat, Raminator, the all-new Ramdemption, and more. Plus a fireworks spectacular Saturday night. Tickets and info at 4wheeljamboree.com.
Fantastic crowd on hand here today at the Bloomsburg Fairgrounds as we get ready for the semi-final round of monster truck racing on this S-shaped obstacle course. 4 ready to go here in this round. Bad News Travels Fast will take on Blockhead. Brandon Darrow out of Elkton, Virginia against Darren Basil. Basil hails from the great state of Texas, piloting the Indiana-based DCT Power Sports Blockhead machine. 2 very different chassis setups here. You see the PEI machine with the 2 nitrogen bypass shocks in the near lane, and then the Eddie Micah-built Blockhead in the far lane with the single bypass shock with the coilover shock next to it. And one of the things the coilover shocks will allow that truck to do is on a hard landing, it'll automatically return to ride height. Takes a little bit of the pressure off those sway bars and will allow him to sit a little flatter. Was in it all the way to the last turn. Basil in trouble. Hold on. Up by the wall. He brings it back. No. Ran out of room. What a driving job for Darren Basil. He tried everything to put that machine down. And the Bloomsburg Fairgrounds have claimed another one. A long history of wild rides at this facility. Darren Basil climbing out of that machine right now. Crazy Craig down there helping him out. They're going to go ahead and flip that machine back over. The power has been shut off. Watch it one more time. Came across the finish line flying, and as dusty as it's gotten out here in the heat of the day, I think he lost sight of the tires at the end of the track. You see he clipped that one, threw him up on the right-hand side. He drove out of it. He had it saved, got on the brakes to avoid the wall, and the momentum took him over the other way. He got back in the throttle, sidewalled that thing, but it would not come back down on all four tires. Basil standing beside his overturned truck right now. Get another look at it from the reverse angle, and you'll see, again, this track has been watered. I've mentioned that a few times this weekend. They are watering this track. It is this warm out here, and the drainage works that well that the water is just rolling down into the infield. It's not getting into the dirt deep enough to really saturate. As much water as they put on it, they don't want to turn it into a slippery situation, but the dust definitely taking its toll, as I do believe he lost sight of those Ute tires. When he came across the line, he clipped the biggest one out there and dumped him over on his top. Doesn't look too upset. He's got his steering wheel in hand. Giving the high five to Crazy Craig. Get him fired back up. Bring him back to the hot pits. They'll go over that machine, and it looks like he's going to be back for the championship round. What a way to go to the finals, as he's one of two gentlemen who has taken a race victory on this weekend here in Bloomsburg. He and Mark Hall, and boy, would he love to get him another one, testing the steering out right there. And truck looks no worse for where it came in, with a few wounds on the body. It doesn't look like he even hurt that badly. No smoke or anything coming out of it. The engine sounds good. Kevin Ricco right there in front of us. Flight Risk getting him backed into position. Good to see Kevin, the local hero from down the road in Hazleton, Pennsylvania. Mentioned in a previous episode, Kevin, the gentleman who put Virginia Giant back together after it got snapped in half. The gentleman who built the front end on J.R. Seasock's machine. Has his hands on a few other chassis over the years, and has a couple coming into the shop here soon. But Flight Risk, one of the best kept secrets in East Coast monster truck racing now, as Mark Hall stages against Jack Brown. This could go either way. We had two great battles in this semifinal round. Brandon Darrow was in that last one until he spun in the final corner. How will this one go? Hall versus Brown. Two very clean runs to the finish. Who won that one? They were right there together on the finish line. Who picked up that victory? Brown was so quick out of that inside lane. Mark Hall with the better drive off the outside final corner. He was able to carry more momentum. We'll watch it again. Looking right down the barrel off the starting line. So you lose sight of them in that rock right there. Here is the final drive from the front stretch wall. We'll see if we can tell. Remember, the tire, they just, as they go off screen, that's the finish line. And there it is. Mark Hall in the Raminator will pick up the victory. A hard-fought battle against Jack Brown. It was so close at the end. Raminator. Right back to the starting line. Things are getting hot here in Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania, and they still have Freestyle yet to go. But our night one winner, Mark Hall, in the Raminator. He will have the outside lane on the first turn. He will have the tighter inside corner on the final turn. Darren Basil, our night two winner, will have the tighter first turn, but he will have more momentum off the final turn. He will have the better drive in terms of how much speed he is carrying to that final jump. Who can use which lane in their favor? Basil with the jump off the line. Hall with huge air over the first jump. Into the final corner. Basil with the drive. Hall washing out just a little bit, and it cost him. Darren Basil went on his roof in the semifinal round, but battled back for the second victory of the weekend. They are 2-4-3 as they defeat night one race winner Mark Hall and Raminator. Darren Basil winning the final racing championship here in Bloomsburg. We will be back with more from the Four-Wheel Jamboree.
This program is brought to you by RPM Army. For a wide array of content from across the motorsports world, visit rpmarmy.com. Your high-performance fix on the go.
Hey, welcome to Wildman Adventures. We're at the Silver Lake Sand Dragway. There really wasn't any off-roading back then. It was all off-road. We're on our way to Lima, Ohio. Got wooden wheels.
Oh, it's slippery as all get out.
Hey, we're here with Rich Cummins. Hey, we're here with Mike Potter. Hey, we're here with Alan Pizzo. Gotta check it out. This week we're gonna go down memory lane.
Welcome back to the 37th Annual Steve Shannon Tire Company Four-Wheel Jamboree Summer Nationals from the Bloomsburg Fairgrounds in Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania. And from the Chrome and Candy Apple of the cruise lanes, we head back to the dusty infield of the competition area. JRC Sock playing hooky. Coming out to start off Freestyle. He has been battling problems all weekend long, really all season long, with a new machine for him. The temporarily insane chassis, formerly of Tyler Leach. A lot of modifications done to this machine, as it spent quite a few weeks in Kevin Ricco's shop up in Hazleton, getting a new front end put underneath of it, and they have been battling gremlins ever since getting it back on the track. He did carry a small slap wheelie out of that. When he gets things set right on this truck, it is going to be a wheelie machine. Nice hit for him there, but the rear tie rod comes off. In fact, it looks like he snapped he had pulled the tab right off the knuckle there on the left rear, and it looks like he broke the right rear knuckle. There wasn't much left to break on this truck at this point, and it's going to bring the Freestyle to a quick end. But hey, it was an exciting 2 hits while it lasted. I can guarantee you it's going to be a very different 2025 for the machine out of Frackville, Pennsylvania. JRC Socken playing hooky, doing what he can with a ailing vehicle. Hard hit right there. Again, you can see it did. It ripped the tab clean off the left rear knuckle, and it broke the right rear knuckle. Now as War Wizard gets ready to come out, RJ Turner out of Knoxville, Maryland. Airs it out over the mud pit. That is right where we were standing during racing with the film crew, and now with the track cleared of all personnel, all the barriers are gone, and all the timing equipment is gone from the Tough Trucks Challenge. These guys have free reign to take over this infield. And the fire goes out on War Wizard. Something going away. Well, he fires it back up. He had that same problem last night. The truck shut down on him. They've had an apparent electrical problem on this machine during the weekend, and you saw the steering issue they were having earlier. Remember, he put this truck on its roof in Indiana on Wednesday afternoon and had to work to get it back together. He's doing a great job here. Nice accounting of himself as he works every inch of this track. Headed into the mud pit. Said they didn't need it anymore this weekend. And you can hear that engine popping and cracking. He definitely has some kind of problem on the thing. The mag may be going away on it. Gets a nice moonwalk, and it shuts down on him again. R.J. Turner in War Wizard laying down his shot here in Freestyle. An excellent start. Between those two machines, we saw the two-hit destruction of playing hooky, and ailing War Wizard comes out and does this, blasts the mud pit. Little old-school monster truck action as he buries it in about 3 feet of muddy mess. The engine was popping and cracking when he got out of there. He still managed to go out and pull off the stoppie into the moonwalk. War Wizard taking over the lead in Freestyle. Up next, Kurt Kramer, Rammunition. Hard hit right there. He did not have the front rear steering lined up when he went over that small jump on the front stretch, and you can see we've got two trucks now sitting out on the track blocking up jumps, but I'd say playing hookie's in about the worst spot it could be. Tried to get it up there as close to the wall as possible, but he had no steering left in it, so Kurt Kramer working his way around here, trying to find something to pick on. Right now carrying a ton of speed. Still a big space in spite of being walled off in 2021 when they built this speedway around this infield here, and not quite the runoff room they used to have on this end of the track where our cameras are, down here near the turn 4 area of this track. There used to be probably another 200 yards of pasture before you got out to the dirt ring in front of the grandstands, and Kramer kicking up the dust on a hot afternoon here in central Pennsylvania. We mentioned they have watered this track several times today, but with the heat baking this clay and the drainage here, the water's just not hanging around. This is a notoriously dusty facility over the years, and you can see it's still living up to that moniker. Kramer with a nice accounting of himself there, and a cloud of dust at the end of the run. Rammunition Not going to take over, I don't think. A wild ride, though, right up on the front stretch, landing hard on the right side of that truck. He has had a rough weekend so far. Had to put the left front tire back on it after he snapped it off in racing on Friday night. Broken champagne took him out of competition. Wasn't able to freestyle then. Came out last night with a decent run. Mark Hall in the Raminator, as I said, shelled the transmission. Now, Brandon Darrow, Bad News Travels Fast. Been one of the slap wheelie kings of this sport for a long time, and there is plenty out there for him to get a slap wheelie off of, but will the truck be able to find the traction out here on this dusty track? The grass now getting coated in dust is making that very slippery, and we'll see. I doubt he's going to take that thing through the mud pit, as clean as he likes to keep it. They just had to put the top of the cab back together a little earlier this year. About 2 months ago, he rolled this truck over doing a car crush. Now, working his way around the Bloomsburg Fairgrounds. Trying to find something different to do. He's searching a little bit out here. I don't think this is going to be a takeover run. Again, he's really looking for that slap wheelie. He's known for it. And sometimes as clean and as smooth as he runs, it can actually hurt his chances at winning a freestyle. There is a little contingent of trucks really known more for racing still in this form of motorsports, and he's one of them as he works his way very nicely around this track. Brandon Darrow looking strong right now in Bad News Travels Fast, but again, I don't think this is going to be a takeover run. Here on Sunday afternoon, nice sky wheelie over the kicker jump on the front stretch, and does a nice job avoiding playing hooky there. It gets tight right where that truck's locked up against the wall. They'll have to tow that thing across the infield and back down. That's another thing that happened when they closed in this track. The monster trucks used to enter from where the front stretch is now. There used to be just wide open pasture there. They just come in off the cruise lane and park out near the farm museum. Now they cannot do that. They have to come all the way around to this back stretch, so they'll have to tow playing hooky from where it now sits all the way to this back fence. Darrow wrapping up a solid run in Bad News Travels Fast, but War Wizard continues to lead the field. We're not done yet. Stay with us. More freestyle action to come from the Summer Nationals.
The greatest spectacle on four wheels is back. The 38th Annual Steve Shannon Tire Company 4-Wheel Jamboree, July 11th through the 13th. America's most legendary 4x4 festival under the Bloomsburg sun, and it's all here. Monster trucks, dump trucks, mud bogs, side-by-sides, burnouts, and monster truck rides, plus acre upon acre of custom 4x4s and the latest off-road products and gear in the Wolfbox Performance Marketplace. Don't miss the Steve Shannon Tire 4-Wheel Jamboree, July 11th through the 13th at the Bloomsburg Fairgrounds. Buy tickets or register your ride today at 4wheeljamboree.com. Freestyle action continues. Jack Brown now hitting the track,
here in Bloomsburg in the Dirt Crew Dozer. Competitors still going after R.J. Turner and War Wizard as the afternoon sun continues to dry out this track. Massive hang time there for Jack Brown as he works the clay there on the front stretch. And again, I have to point out this track has been watered several times today. This dirt surface here just getting beaten down and cooked under the afternoon sun, and the water draining into the infield. It's making the silt come down onto the grass, and as these guys go over the track multiple times, it just takes the moisture out of it. That's why you're seeing that blinding screen of dust. But the fans still getting treated to an awesome performance here in freestyle as Jack Brown continues his crusade to try to knock R.J. Turner and War Wizard off the top step and claim a freestyle victory. 2 for 2 right now, belonging to his teammate Darren Basil in Blockhead. And Jack came in here hoping for at least one racing victory, at least one freestyle victory, if not a sweep of the weekend in this marathon run, as it always is, in 3 straight performances in Bloomsburg for the Four-Wheel Jamboree Summer Nationals. Again, brought to you by Steve Shannon Tire Company. And Brown getting the truck on the nose. The two-wheel action, you see the rear tires chattering right there. That's an indication that the sensor on the rear steering has been knocked a little out of calibration. Likely runs those Pablo rear steering self-center mechanisms, and occasionally, if the electronic eye gets knocked out of calibration, the rear tires will chatter. Gonna need a shower after this day in Bloomsburg. What a run for Jack Brown, the Dirt Crew Dozer. And I do believe Brown may have taken over with that run. No lulls in the momentum. That was the one thing I think R.J. Turner had a problem with in his run, was that electrical issue he was battling. When the truck cut off on him a couple of times, it may have hurt his chance for a victory, but a solid run there for Jack Brown. Spectacular at times. We'll see if it holds up now as your Night 1 racing champion and multiple-time Four-Wheel Jamboree points champion Mark Hall rolls out in the Ram Trucks Raminator. Here they've got mufflers, collectors, 4-into-1 collectors into mufflers on this truck now. It's got a very different sound from what it had in its early days. That big Hemi power plant really will make a lot of noise, but with those collectors and those mufflers on there, it really quiets it down. And we've heard over the years some drivers actually don't like those trucks quieter. Some do, but some will say it actually can affect you being able to hear when you're supposed to shift in those machines. When you bring it to a slower speed, you'll knock it back into first, kind of creep around and throw it back into second to get your speed up. But right now it doesn't seem to be negatively affecting Mark Hall as he makes a solid run here in front of this crowd that has gotten so used to over the years seeing this veteran and Hall of Fame driver take to the fields here at Bloomsburg and laying down his best shot right now as he is in a cloud of dust. Started into a donut, and then it went quiet. I'm not sure if it lost power or if they shut him down because he was getting too close to something over there. He took a hard hit in the opening of this run, but the truck holding up to it. He's got those SUR planetary covers and carriers on the rear planetary assemblies on that truck, running the Clark fronts. Now Darren Basil in blockhead is coming out to wrap up this freestyle competition. He's 2 for 2. Can he take the sweep in freestyle? If he wins this freestyle competition, he will have won 5 of 6 competitions staged here in Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania. He was 2 for 3 in racing. Night 1 belonging to Mark Hall. He's 2 of 2 in freestyle. This third competition could be all his, and he's off to an outstanding start. Carrying those vertical slab wheelies. Everybody's been looking for those all weekend long, and it seems like Darren is the guy who figured out how to plant the traction, plant the horsepower on those rear tires and get that bite to carry that front end. This setup, this combination works so well for him. Again, those coilover shocks helping that machine return to ride height after a hard bounce, and it takes some of the strain off of some of the other moving parts on these trucks when they run the coilover setup. There's a couple of guys in this business who continue to believe in that setup, and this team did it on several of their machines over the years, and now on this, their newest chassis of the fleet, they continue that tradition of running those coilovers, although they don't do it on all their vehicles anymore. It's definitely seeming to work for Darren Basil as he puts a lot of time into the setup on this machine, making sure it's good, nice and tight, ready to go. And he is making the most of it right now. I'd say if he shut the truck off, he would take the freestyle victory, but he is not done playing in the dust out here in Bloomsburg. Camera crew searching for him out there. He's finding dust in places we didn't know there was any dust, but he's not letting it stop him getting that massive hang time. Running end to end, corner to corner. There's a couple little nooks and crannies on this track, and he's kicking up a storm cloud. Over there on the apron of the track, nailing those K-rails. You have to be so careful going in there. You hit the corner of one of those concrete barriers, you can rip a tire wide open as he dirt tracks around, dusting down our corner camera crew one more time. Big hits back to the front stretch. Darren Basil wrapping up an excellent freestyle run. And Basil will pick up the freestyle victory, and I don't think there was any question that he did what he had to do. What a weekend of action here at the 2024 Steve Shannon Tire Company 4-Wheel Jamboree Summer Nationals, the 37th annual Summer Nationals. We cannot wait to see you back here for the 38th Annual Summer Nationals in 2025. Thanks for joining us. We will see you in Indy.
Make noise. It's got Tourette's. Oh.